What's up, everyone? Welcome back. So this is going to be my review of The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 5, but I will also include my Episode 4 review at the end. I know that's totally backwards. I completely missed last week's episode as I was away in Argentina, but I did really like it, and I will give you my thoughts at the end of this video. So if you want to just skip to Episode 4 review, then the timestamp's below. But for now, let's get stuck into Episode 5. So right from the beginning of this episode, I thought it was a great start. I really thought it was a very interesting and an engaging moment between these two soldiers of the wAFF, where they're talking about what had happened in this scenario where they went down into, I think it was B1, B2. Basically, they went underground and they wasn't really expecting much, and they expected a few clickers, a few infected here and there, but that was basically it. To then find that people started turning and becoming infected, and they were so confused as to why, because nobody was getting bit, and then it got revealed that it was in the air, which I thought was a really engaging moment for people that don't know the games. And if you're watching the show, I mean, I was like, this is a sick way to introduce the spores. What a cool sort of story to build it off. And the fact that they had to trap their own people inside, and I'm pretty sure that this woman had to trap her own son inside this lower basement. They closed the entrance to B1 and B2, and had to trap everyone inside. And then one of the characters from the wAFF, I don't know her name, but you've seen the episode, so you know what I'm talking about. As she leaves the room, she turns around and says, "I'm sorry for the loss of your son," or "I'm sorry about your son." So I imagine maybe this Leon that this woman's talking about is her son, and he got infected, and she had to just leave him in there and trap all of their own people in this basement. I thought it was a very dark and engaging way to start off the episode, but also to introduce the spores and that things are now evolving. And it actually, what I really liked about it was the way that it made me feel like the threat of the spores more, because in the games you just introduced to them normal. It's just normal. In the world, you go through different areas, you put a gas mask on, you walk through an area. The spores don't affect you in the game, so you don't really feel the threat of it so much. But in the show, I love how they've actually introduced that as like this real threat that's bigger than even just the clickers, because now it's airborne. How could you even escape something like that? So this is like a huge worry and threat for whole of humanity, and I love the fact that they've introduced it in this way. It does make it more of a fearful factor, rather than it just be, oh yeah, there's spores here and there in certain buildings, put a gas mask on, you'll be fine. Then we have Ellie and Dina in the theater, and they're trying to figure out their next movements, their next plans, what they're going to do next, and Dina's drawing up this map. And what I like about this, and also what I also I'm a little bit on the fence with, and that's only because of how I feel so strongly about the games, and I loved how the games played out. So there's always going to be these little moments where I like them, but I'm also like, but I don't know if I like it more or less than the games. Is that in the show, they're definitely creating Dina to be a lot more of a presence within the story. She is a presence in the games, and I love Dina in the games, but in the show, Dina's definitely becoming a lot more of like a main character, which I actually really like. I like the fact that Dina is becoming a lot more important in the show, and she's standing out a lot more to a certain point where it's like, is she almost taking over the role of Ellie? And I was getting a little bit worried about that, because I want it to be about Ellie, but there's been moments where it feels like Dina is the one who's, because in the games, Ellie, you literally are just playing as Ellie, and Ellie's making all of the decisions. She's the person who is deciding where to go, what to do next. I mean, you and Dina obviously spend time together, and you're figuring out stuff together as you go. But in the games, it's all basically Ellie figuring it all out. In the show, it's Dina who's like the clever one, who's the smart one, who's figuring out the best move, the next best option for them to take. And I actually do like it, but it feels sometimes like it's taken away some aspects of Ellie that I'm not sure about, because I want Ellie to really stand out, and I feel like at the moment it's felt like Dina has been sort of taking a bit of a lead here while Ellie's been taking a bit of a backseat. That's how it's felt anyway, and I've been a little bit conflicted with that because I love Ellie so much that I'm a bit like, why does it feel like Ellie's just a little bit dumb? She's not making any smart decisions. It's all Dina who's creating all of these plans, and yeah, it's just been a thing that I've been on the fence with. But as I get further into this review, I will explain that, you know, Ellie does have a moment, and I'm so glad that they gave her that because I was waiting for it. But we'll go into that in a moment. We have a moment that's totally new for the show, and it wasn't in the games at all. This was completely added in there for the show, but I really liked it. So Dina and Ellie come across this warehouse and they go through and find the stalkers to then quickly realize that they're totally outnumbered and the chances of surviving here were like very slim. Even I was thinking, how are they going to get out of this? In the games, you'd be fine. Ellie can just kill everything. But in the show, it's a different type of Ellie. It's a lot more realistic. You can't just kill every single enemy that's around. So I was thinking, how are they gonna navigate through this moment? Dina runs off into this gated area whilst Ellie tries to defend and kill everything. Obviously, she's immune, so she knows that she can get bitten and she's not gonna be infected. So it made sense. But I was thinking, how are they going to actually get out of this? Because then the stalkers are pulling open the cage. Dina's ran out of ammo. Ellie's on the floor, and she's got multiple stalkers on top of her. Then all of a sudden, Jesse comes in and saves the day. I really liked this. I thought it was a really cool moment. It definitely had me on the edge of my seat because I thought I knew what was coming and what to expect, and suddenly I didn't know. And I actually thought Dina might have been in some danger, and I was really worried about that because I actually love this Dina. I love the game Dina, but this Dina is definitely shining for me at the minute. So I was actually a bit like, oh shit, like what's going to happen? But I thought it was really cool how they have now brought Jesse into this moment and sort of condensed certain parts of the game story into this story of the show and made it all work. Now we have Jesse, Dina, and Ellie going off together, which, again, isn't in the games. We only have Jesse and Ellie together at certain points, and then Ellie and Dina at certain points. But I really liked how it all worked, and they condensed it into this one moment. Then we have the chase scene of obviously the wolves finding them. Jesse's trying to shoot them off. They escape and they end up into the park, the forest, the woods. I think they said the park, which I knew straight away. I was like, oh shit, we're going to get the moments where we get to see what the scars are up to and what they are doing to people. And this moment was so good. I thought it was great. I loved everything to do with this scene. So now in this episode, we get to see really what the scars are about and how brutal they are and just what they are doing to people. They are literally hanging people up, slitting open their stomachs and pulling their intestines out and leaving them to hang there. This is what the scars do to people, and it's so dark and so brutal, and I love the fact that the show didn't shy away from it. To be fair, this show is actually going in on certain situations that I thought they might have shied away from, and I like the fact they've done that. Actually, I love it. Then we have this moment that I thought was absolutely sick. I love this for multiple reasons. We have the confrontation between Ellie and Nora, which I loved because it was basically exactly word for word from the games. That moment where Ellie confronts Nora, to my memory, that whole moment was exactly the same as it was in the games, and I just remember each line and the dialogue, and I was like, I love that. Little moments like that as a fan of the games was just a really cool touch. But then we also have the chase scene, which again happens in the game, which I was really enjoying. And then we finally go down into the lower level where in the show we get introduced to the spores properly, which I thought was great. I really liked this moment, and it looked amazing to see this underground basement level, which was completely overrun by cordyceps and the fungus, and like the infected were just like built into the walls. It was like Alien. It looked amazing, like the actual set and everything looked so good. That's another thing I haven't really mentioned, just this episode as a whole. The set designs were amazing. But anyway, this whole sequence where Ellie finally comes across the spores, I thought it was really cool. I love how they're emphasizing on the spores being such a threat and how lethal and dangerous and scary they are. I really like how the show's doing that and just making it feel like another threat on top of everything else. And it was just cool to see this whole moment. And again, it looked amazing. But then we actually have the moment that I was really looking forward to. I knew it was going to be in this episode, and I wasn't sure if they were going to fully go there, because this moment between Ellie and Nora in the games is really dark, it's very brutal, and it really is serious, and it's a real moment where you really start to feel how dark and twisted and brutal Ellie is getting, and how she is just on this revenge mission, and she is totally getting lost through the darkness. And I wasn't sure if they were going to do it, and they did do it, and I'm really happy they did. It was a real moment in the games, and I love the fact they didn't shy away from... Well, actually, to be fair, they shied away a little bit. I kind of wanted them to go a little bit harder in this show, but it does make Ellie look to be really dark at this point. And again, I think they managed to accomplish that in this episode, because so far Ellie hasn't really felt like dark or messed up too much. She hasn't had that brutal darkness, that revenge-driven anger inside of her. I don't feel we've had that yet in this Ellie, and that's something that I've been sort of frustrated with, because Ellie in this show has felt a little bit too like happy in moments. Like, obviously there's been moments where it's been awful and sad and depressing, but in the games, Ellie is already at this point. She is so like down and dark, and she's so driven to just kill everyone that I was kind of wanting to see that more. But that's because I'm just a fan of the games, and I want to see that type of Ellie. But it's a different type of Ellie that we have in this show. And like at the beginning of this episode, and even last episode, where Ellie's sort of finding out that Dina's pregnant, she was kind of happy about it, whereas in the game she was pissed off about it, like really like stressed out, because it's another thing that they've got to worry about. It's another thing that is like a burden. She even says this is like a burden now, whereas in the show she's like dead happy about it. And even at the start of episode 5, Ellie's just dead like, hey, and being dead jokey, and I don't know, it doesn't really feel right for how I know Ellie is in the games. But this moment at the end of episode 5 really made me feel like, okay, I'm so glad that we got this moment with Ellie. And I like the fact that it was just Ellie was separated from Dina and Jesse, and now we really get to see how Ellie is and how she's really feeling and thinking, because it is so dark and she is completely messed up, and she's in a real anger-driven rampage of just revenge at this point in the game. So I'm glad that they really went in on it. I just wish we got a tiny little bit more of the beating scene, and it seemed like it was showing you that she wasn't hitting Nora's head, whereas in the games you don't see it. You can just see it you see Ellie standing there whacking the pipe across, and you can hear it. You can mainly hear it. I kind of wish that we had it like that, and not just seeing that Ellie was whacking a body. I know this is messed up, but in the games it really was like, holy shit, I feel so like messed up doing this, but I love it. And in the show it kind of does it, but doesn't do it as brutal, I didn't think. Then we have a real nice moment at the end of the episode where Ellie wakes up in bed and Joel walks in and says, hey kiddo. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I just love Joel, and it's just one of them moments that, oh, God's sake, I miss Joel. But it looks like we're going to probably get now, in next episode, possibly the flashback of Ellie's birthday. And that's going to be a really heartfelt, touching episode. I can't wait for that. I don't know if that is coming. I'm sure they've put a preview up. They usually put like a trailer for the next episode up. I haven't checked that out yet, but I imagine that's probably going to come next, because we have seen that in the trailers. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But all in all, I thought this was a great episode. I am really enjoying the show so far. I'm interested to see what the TV show fans that haven't played the game are thinking about the show at the moment. I'm loving it, but that's because I love the game so much. So I'm enjoying watching the show. But for for the fans of the TV who haven't played the game, yeah, I don't know what they're going to be really feeling at the moment with the loss of Joel. My housemate is not enjoying it now. He loved it. Loved season 1. Absolutely loved it. Couldn't wait for season 2. Then Joel died. He straight away said he doesn't want to watch it anymore. And now he's saying, he just messaged me now as I'm recording this saying, The Last of Us is so shit now. So I don't know why he thinks that or what. I haven't spoke to him yet. But basically, it's feeling like maybe even the TV show fans are not happy with it because of the loss of Joel and for whatever reason. So I'm interested to understand a bit more and what they're thinking. But yeah, for me personally, I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to see the rest of it. I think what they're going to do is they're going to do season 2, the first 7 episodes. We've only got, 2 more left? That's just going to be Ellie's story. And then the rest of season 3, which is going to be the second half of The Last of Us 2, Part 2 game, is probably going to be from Abby's perspective, because that's what it's like in the games. I actually like that. I actually like the fact they're doing it like that. If they do it like that, I'm pretty sure they're going to. So, really love this episode. I thought it was a great episode, really strong episode. So, I would give this an 8 out of 10. So, that's it for my review on episode 5. If you want to check out my review for episode 4, then just stay here on the video. But if not, thanks again, guys, and I will see you all on the next one. Here's my review for episode 4. Again, I thought it was a very strong episode. I really enjoyed it for many reasons. First of all, we got introduced to Isaac, which I thought was a great way to introduce him. To see how he left Fedra and joined Wolves was sick. To just see him throw grenades into a van filled with his own men and just blow them all up was so ruthless and brutal, and I just thought it was a sick way to introduce his character. We don't see too much of Isaac in The Last of Us Part 2, the game. So to see like a backstory of him, I thought was really cool. And done in this way just sets him up to be a very interesting character, which he is. So, and we also get more of that with the interrogation scene where Isaac is torturing the Seraphite. Just the way he does that, the way he's teasing him with this story about how he loves these pans, and then he's burning him with them, torturing him with these pans, trying to get the information out of the Seraphite. I thought this whole scene was very intimidating and done really well. Both the acting in the scene was sick. I loved how the Seraphite just wasn't giving any information up and just put his hand out at the end, ready to be tortured more. And Isaac just knew he wasn't going to get anything out of him, so he just shoots his head off. I really liked all that. I thought it was done really well. I liked how it was written, and it was just a really cool scene. So I thought that was great. Then we also have the scene of Ellie and Dina in the music shop, which I love this. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed this moment. I loved it in the games, and I loved it again here. I thought Bella Ramsey played that song and sang it very, very similar to how Ellie sounds in the game. It sounded just like Ellie to me. I loved this moment, and I loved the performance from Isabella. I can't remember her last name, Merced, the girl who plays Dina anyway. She's such an amazing actress. I'm loving everything she's doing with Dina at the moment. To see Ellie play this song and for Dina to come up the stairs and be so excited to hear it, and then to sit down and to see Dina like realizing that she actually is in love with Ellie and seeing them emotions just through her eyes and her expressions and her tearing up to eventually like being in tears. It actually had me tearing up. I loved it. I thought it was a great moment. It was a beautiful moment in the game, and I thought it was a beautiful moment again here. Really enjoyed all that. Then the whole TV station scene with Ellie and Dina finding all the bodies hung up with all the intestines hanging out from the scars, all the blood all over the walls, and the different. I can't remember what was written on the walls, but I think it was something to do with the prophet. But anyway, the wolves come in, and Ellie and Dina. It's like a little cool stealth mission from the games to me when I was watching it, where they're hiding behind the tables, the desks, and trying to sneak around. I just liked all that. And then we have Ellie finally jumping and hiding from one of the wolves. She's trying to find an exit. She jumps on the back of the wolf, and Dina shoots the guy in the head. That was done well enough to be believable, because in episode 1, if you remember, when Ellie's fighting that big, massive, muscly guy in a barn and manages to make him tap out, I was like, that is ridiculous. That's so unbelievable. But I thought they did it in a better way here, because she's not really getting the better of the guy. She is, because she's hanging off his back and he's struggling to sort of like keep up. But at least Dina then shoots him and like kills him. It just was a little. it's going to be hard for this show to make any of these scenes that Ellie's taking out people believable, because Bella Ramsey just looks so young and she's so small. So it's just very hard to believe it. But I thought it was done well enough for me to be happy enough with. I really enjoyed the whole sequence of Ellie and Dina trying to escape from the horde of the infected through the underground, through the train. I loved all this. It was different to how it is in the game. It's very similar in certain ways, but obviously in the game, again, you spend a lot of time trying to kill and killing the infected and all the wolf soldiers down there in this underground with all the red flares. It looks sick in the game, and it looked great here as well, but here, obviously, they didn't have Ellie and Dina going around killing everyone. They just had this whole chase sequence happen through the train, and it really worked for me. I thought it was great. It looked amazing. Like, the set is just so good. And I liked how the train was just so claustrophobic and they were struggling to get through it, and all the infected are bursting through the windows and coming through the ceiling. It felt really claustrophobic and really intense. I really enjoyed this whole thing. I thought it was great. I also really enjoyed the change of how when they're getting chased through the sort of exit of the train station, of the underground, how in the game Ellie gets caught by a clicker and Dina shoots the clicker's head off. But also at some point around, I can't remember exactly when, but there's loads of spores in the game, and Dina's gas mask gets cracked, so Ellie takes hers off and replaces Dina's with hers. But then Dina's panicking and screaming because she thinks Ellie's going to get infected and die by breathing in the spores, which then that's how Dina finds out that Ellie is immune. It's a really cool moment in the games. It really worked in the games, but I thought it also worked well here, how Ellie puts her hand up in front of Dina's face and she gets bitten by an infected. Dina sees it, and then they get to the theater, and then they have this whole confrontation. I thought it was done. It was a change, but I liked it. I thought it really worked. And then we have the whole situation with Dina and Ellie in the theater, and I love this moment because Dina's now having to come to the realization that she's going to have to kill this person that she's now in love with, Ellie, because she's going to turn into an infected like any moment. I love this whole moment. I thought it was really cool because that was very different than in the game, so it was interesting to me to see it played out differently. Then we have the moment where Dina reveals to Ellie that she's pregnant, and then within about -1 second, they're already having sex. This happened a little bit too quick for me, I'll be honest. I was like, okay, all right, well, there we go then. That's how you do it. But it wasn't like the worst thing. It felt a little bit rushed. In the game, Ellie and Dina have a sex scene, but it's earlier on, and they have the whole thing. I can't remember exactly where it's placed in the game, but it's before they get to the theater, and it's in Eugene's like weed basement where he's got all the weed, like the weed farm thing. Yeah, so we did actually have that sex scene happen in the game, but it was just changed around to fit the show, and it worked. It worked in this moment. It did happen a bit too fucking quick. I was like, bloody hell, all right then. You were going to blow her brains out a minute ago, and now you're pregnant, and now you're having sex in the space of 1 second. I also really enjoyed the whole gay romance thing happening between Dina and Ellie. For me, I love these characters. I love them in the games, and I love them here. So for me, it really works. I really like the chemistry between them both, and to see them have this bond and this relationship blossoming in the show, I'm really enjoying it. For me, it really works. And then it ends with Ellie and Dina looking out from the rooftop over Seattle, seeing all the explosions and realizing like, shit, this is going to be difficult. And then they sort of have that moment of saying, are we going to do this alone or together? And Dina says together. They hold hands, they look out, and it ends there. So I really enjoyed this episode. Again, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the whole introduction to Isaac, everything we've got with Isaac, the whole sequence of, well, the TV station, the set designs. It looks amazing. The set designs are incredible. The whole underground horde chase scene was sick. Really enjoyed that. And then the confrontation between Dina and Ellie, that was done really well, I thought. And then also the romance between Ellie and Dina really works for me as well. So for me, I'm actually really enjoying it. I really enjoyed that episode as well. So for me, I would give this episode an 8 out of 10. So that's it for my reviews. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know down in the comments below what you're thinking to the show so far. Are you enjoying it? Are you not? Did you enjoy episode 5? Did you enjoy episode 4? Which was your favorite? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Drop me a like if you enjoyed this. And if you are new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe. That'd be amazing. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you all on the next one.